Hi, my name is Lauren Banks. I've been in the industry for about 3 years now. Modeling is something I've always wanted to do. It's kind of been a lifelong goal of mine, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting older and I don't want to be 30 and regret anything in my life. So I decided to go to an open call, and I brought my sissy along with me.
I'm Lindsey Banks. I've been modeling for about 2 years now, and I actually was kind of discovered, I was a hostess, and the team had come in and they gave me their little card, and I didn't do anything about it at first. I didn't act right away because I didn't know if it was something I could really, see myself doing, and I wasn't very confident. But then my sister dragged me along with her to one of the open calls, and then the rest is history. The best job that I worked was probably for Nike. It was definitely because it was the biggest one I've done so far, and it sounds so surreal, hearing that you're gonna be working for this brand that is so common and you've heard of forever. And it was just a really great experience. Everyone on set was just so many things are happening. There's a million different things going on, and it was just surreal, and I just remember feeling very thankful to be in that situation.
The best job I have ever worked, mine was actually recently. So I went to Nevada Infertility Clinic, and I wasn't aware of the owner at the time. I did a little bit of research, but I didn't really make the connection. And the sister who owned the place is actually the sister of Winston Duke, and he is a big actor. I love Black Panther, so I knew him immediately. I love Us, all those movies. And he was kind of the creative director, and I didn't know that was the role that he was going to be playing, but it was really amazing. And I'm thinking back on it of how much of a privilege that is to not only meet him, but to get direction from him and get inspiration from him. So yeah, that was really amazing, and I was really fortunate.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Because we're sisters, I don't think I feel pressure to be better. To be so honest, I've always just had very big dreams for, I feel sometimes her first. And I just I don't know, if one of us had to make it, I'd always choose her, which obviously,
I'm gonna cry.
Stop. Obviously, if you're gonna cry, I'm gonna cry, stop. Obviously, I value my career as well, but I've never felt pressure to be better. I know her dreams, and like I said, if it's gotta be one of us, it's gotta be you.
Ew. Okay, let me pull it together. I don't think there's pressure in this industry, because I think growing up, I think society kind of tries to put a pressure on us anyway. So I think going into this industry, it was something that wasn't foreign to us, unfortunately. Right. So we've always just had a really strong bond. And like she said, if somebody's got to be me, it better be my sister. I hope the best for her in every situation. But also being the older sister, I actually feel like I've always kind of looked up to her in a way. So for me, I don't feel the pressure that comes with it. And I'm sure it's there. I mean, there's no doubt we look similar but different, and there's things that she brings that I don't. There's things, vice versa. But no, I think we've gone into it the best we can, and yeah, I got her, she's got me. They can try, but tough wall to break here.
I was able to get signed in LA, which I feel is just the biggest, I don't know, that's the main thing. But yeah, it's just a matter of, again, I'm shorter, and so that was also something going into this that I'm not I maybe wouldn't be considered as high fashion or runway and stuff like that. And so I think LA is more, where she would be more New York or Milan or somewhere, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's been the main thing. Again, so just height, and I don't know, also booking. She's very friendly. She's the friendly one, and she's very smiley all the time, and so she books more lifestyle stuff and the fun, and yeah, that's what I would say.
We've definitely had different journeys since signing with the agency. Like she kind of mentioned, she did sign to LA first. And I'll be real, I think when it first happened, it was one of those things where I was like, what do I need to do to get to that point as well, you know? Because obviously coming into this, that's everyone's goal, is to expand and things like that. So I would say that, like she said, that would be the biggest difference. I did go in also, I was 21 when I was signed, and she was a little bit younger. So I think that might have made a difference, just because we live in Vegas, everything is a freaking casino. Like, we can't help it. Like, so I was doing more like casino work and things of that sort. But yeah, I mean, we've had we knew going into it that it wasn't going to be like we're having the exact same. And
I think it's like, I'm almost thankful for that as well. Because that's what, like, you know, us being sisters and we look pretty similar. And so you want to like have our own paths,
our own journeys.
Vibe,
and
like,
agreed. We have had several fights and disagreements, not in the way that you would think about our journeys. I am my biggest critic in and out. I am so hard on myself. Like, even when I do something good, I feel like in the back of my head, I'm like, could have been better. And she keeps me definitely in check with that. I think kind of going back to like when she had gotten signed and like, we kind of went to the open call together. So of course it's one of these things where you're so happy for your sister, but it's also in the back of my mind, the way my head works, I'm like, what could you have done to be better? But she's never let me like stay in that place for a long time. So if we ever are fighting, it's more so of her just being like, get out of your own head, like listen to what an outside perspective is trying to tell you about yourself. And then I'm mad because I'm stubborn and I'm like, stop trying to tell me what to do. But at the end of the day, like she keeps me in check, and I think it's something that I need a lot of throughout my life, not just in modeling. Like, I've needed that. So we do fight, but it's necessary for me.
Yeah, I think we definitely have gotten into disagreements about how we're different in our journeys. But I would say it's like the exact same thing, but like flipped, because I also am super hard on myself, and I also, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know, I feel like it's so easy to like look at yourself and again have that same mindset of like, what am I doing wrong? Like, how do I improve? Like, all this stuff. And also just, it's so weird. No one talks about like looking at a picture of yourself. Oh my gosh, it's
real
like
hard. Real hard sometimes.
So weird. It's so easy to like just pick it apart, you know? And so again, she has to tell me like, literally shut up, like you're doing fine, and like
you're making up
fine.
things.
Right. And so and then I would just say I think it's like the exact same thing that you said. Yeah.
Healthy fights.
Healthy fights.
I think being signed with my sister in the same agency, I would say it's made us closer. I've always been really blessed to have a sister that I'm really close to. I think just being at the same agency, we can kind of lean on each other in a way. We can talk about things, we can discuss things. We can be at situations like this and we can be together. And I think the older that we've gotten, obviously I'm on a different path, she's on a different path. But I feel like this is kind of our common ground to where we could be like, okay, you're married doing this and that, I'm graduate doing that, you know, doing all these different things. But like, we have this kind of thing to kind of bring us back together at the end of the day. So that's really special to me.
You can't keep going first, she takes the Okay, being signed to the same agency as my sister is just positives all around, really. Like, it's just exactly what she said. It is like a common ground. It's something that we're both working towards, that we both have fun with. And we've actually been fortunate enough to like work a couple of the same jobs together, which for the longest time, like, we didn't. And then now we're like starting to get booked with the same stuff. And it's always, oh my gosh, it's like a million times better. We carpool, we're saving gas, and then just like
sharing snacks.
Like, and I don't feel nervous, you know what I mean? Even now, like, oh my gosh, I would be so much more nervous, like talking to you guys and interviewing without Sheila next to me. And so it's just, I wouldn't have it any other way. My proudest moment of her, as far as agency goes, I feel like it's literally everything. There's not like a specific job or a specific thing. It's just like,
don't you dare, don't do it again.
I don't know, it's just like growing up together and like knowing she's always like had this dream, and like she was like insecure and like all this stuff, and you know, like we all are, but it's just like seeing her actually like pursue what she like has always wanted to do. It's like, great. So yeah. And then I don't know, for myself, I think it's basically the same thing. Just I like hate change. I don't go out of my comfort zone. Like I never did any like sports growing up or anything just because like, I don't know, I just am like in this bubble and I like want to stay there. And so just to like put myself out there, which again, like I would have never even gone to the call and if she like go with me. So yeah, just like exploring new things.
I feel like I keep reiterating this like her being signed thing, but it genuinely was so amazing to me just because she walked in there and like in the car even she was like, I don't know why I'm going to this thing, like there's gonna be all these other girls, and I think she is like so unaware of like her own beauty. It like makes me so furious. Like I promise you she has looked this way since she was like 3 years old. Like I've never met someone that doesn't have an awkward face, and like she is so like unaware of what she possesses. So the fact that she walked in there and I kind of went in right after her, so I got to kind of see, and she just has this like natural like light about her. Like you can't deny it. Everyone feels it. So like when I walked in there and I saw just how she was blossoming, I was like, oh my gosh, like I wish that you saw what everyone else in the room sees. So for me, when it happened, it was like, I was so proud and so like grateful that it was an outside source that maybe now she'll believe all these things that I've like always told her. So yeah, I'm just so proud of like how she's blossomed. Like she's so independent now, which hurts my heart a little bit because I'm like, no, I need you to need me sometimes, but you know, she doesn't, and she's finding her own style and she's finding her own confidence, and for that I'm just like really proud of her. For myself, oh God, this is hard for me. I don't like talking about myself. This is making me really uncomfortable. But I would say the same thing. I think kind of as she mentioned, I didn't grow up with the most confidence in myself, I think. And like I said, I've always known that this was something I wanted to do, but I just didn't possess like the confidence to even do it, to even put myself out there. I'm constantly comparing myself to others. So I think now in this situation, like knowing I can walk into a room and feel confident and just kind of hold my own and find my own, I guess, myself in that. Yeah, I think that's just made me really proud of how far I've come in that way.
I think the biggest sacrifice you have to make in being a model is just like only thinking about like time. I feel like it's such a big thing, and like when you're not actively pursuing something that like you want to do, you don't even think about like how, oh my gosh, I like can't put this into words, how like much of yourself, like, you know what I mean? Like everything is just when you want to do it, where you want to do it, like stuff like that. And this has been the first thing where it's like, oh, like if you have to go to LA or like if you have to go anywhere, like there's a call in New York, like all this stuff. And it's like, oh, like, wait, but like it's the weekend, you know, like it's like stuff that like you didn't think about before that you're realizing like you have to sacrifice, or like calling off of work, like just stuff like that. That is like, which one now am I gonna like really prioritize? And so, yeah, I think that that's just been the biggest sacrifice, is like doing something greater than yourself for like the outcome.
For yourself,
so,
though,
for
in
your
the same way, yeah.
Yeah, see,
that makes sense.
She knows what to say.
I got you. Because you took my answer. No, okay. I would say for me, I signed, like I said, I signed when I was 21, and it was right when I was like, oh, you're 21 and you're living in Vegas. Like it's time to buck up. You're going crazy. But kind of how she said, I like I said, it's weird to sometimes like also put yourself first. And to me, that's a sacrifice, because it's easier for me to put my effort and my energy into everyone else around me and think about myself last. It's always, I don't know, it's something that I kind of lean on. But in this industry, you have to put yourself first. And for me, that has been a sacrifice because it's hard. And sometimes I feel guilty, you know, I should be putting more effort into friendships, or I should be, but you do have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself mentally. You have to take care of yourself physically. And even just going to the gym sometimes for me, I'm like, this is a lot. Like, but at the end of the day, like it's what you have to do. And to me, that's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice for the greater good. But yeah, I'd say that was my biggest.
That's what I meant. That is what I meant.
Got you.
I'm a very artsy person. That's like the only thing that I've ever been kind of good at is just like art and stuff. And so in a way this is that, but it's like with me, you know, like putting on different stuff, like embodying like a different persona kind of. It's like acting, but you know, without a script. But I just mean like feeling like, you know, like when I'm talking to you, I'm like shy and awkward and like don't know what to say, can't find the words, but then in front of a camera, it's like you just come out of your shell, and it's just a way of like speaking but not speaking, and you know, like it's just fun to try new things and have my makeup done in ways I would never do before, and like my hair all crazy, and you know, just getting out of your comfort zone, I think is
the most fun part of modeling for me. I've met amazing people along the way, like not only like directors, photographers, just creatives, like she said, just like friendships. I've made so many friends. And everyone has a unique story and a way they got into it, and they're from different places and they look different. And it's so amazing to like stand in a room where it's like we are all so different, but we have like a common goal. Yeah. And it's also been really nice. All the people that I've met, I don't know if it's this agency, I don't know what it is, but no, it's never felt like competition. Yeah. Like we cheer each other on, we root each other on. And that's really amazing just to find your people. So I would say that's probably the most fun.
Yeah. My least favorite thing about modeling, kind of going back to what we talked about before, like me being my own biggest critic. And I mean, it's an industry based off of what you look like, like whether you want it to be or not, like that's just what it boils down to. And obviously like personality and so many things go into it when you're like meeting someone face to face, but when someone's deciding if they want to book you, like they're looking at a picture of you, and like that's all it is. And so to already be hard on myself and like hearing the word no and just wondering like what is it, you know, like should I do this, should I change this, like, and just constantly like, and then like practicing in front of the mirror, but then that means you have to look in the mirror constantly, and so I'm always in the mirror and I like drive myself crazy with that. And so yeah, I think it's just like having to notice things about yourself that maybe you weren't so aware of before, but also learning that like it's not personal, and like just taking everything as like a learning experience, and like this isn't a reflection of who I am. And yeah.
I would say my least favorite thing about modeling for myself is just like kind of the constant comparison. My mom has always said comparison is a thief of joy, and that took me a really long time to kind of get a grasp of, and even now it is difficult. When you're constantly kind of seeing what, you know, other people are doing, or people that look like you, don't look like you, anything like that, it's easy to kind of be like, well, I want to be where she is. Well, I want to do what she's doing. And you kind of forget your own journey, and you kind of dismiss your own experience, I guess. So I think that I was kind of like that for a while. And I kind of got stuck in a rut for a little bit. And it makes you not enjoy what you're doing. And when I started to not enjoy what I was doing, that's when I was like, okay, I need to take a step back and kind of evaluate. And I realized I was doing it to myself. Like, but I would say just the constant comparison and kind of having to bring yourself back down to earth and kind of just be like, this is your journey, this is your moment. And you are forgetting that you are in the places that you prayed for because you are comparing yourself to someone else's situation. So I would say that's probably the hardest part for me.
One of my dream clients would be, out of the a zillion that I have, would be to shoot with like Fenty Beauty. I just really, it's like I wear the stuff, you know what I mean? So I feel like that would be super cool. And I really like Rihanna. And you know, it's like, it just feels like, I don't know, like if I were to like walk into Sephora or something and like my face is there, you know what I mean? Like just something like that. But yeah, I've got a zillion billion of them. But you know, I think that one would be so cool.
You could do that. You'll do it. Okay, so my dream client, I feel like this is gonna sound a little corny, but I don't care. I don't care. I feel like Calvin Klein would be so cool, because I remember when I was growing up and I would see those Calvin Klein jean ads, and I was like, oh, that girl's cool. That girl's got it going on. I want to be her in my little jeans. I love jeans. Jeans and a sports bra, I'm good. Like I can do that for you. So I think that one would be, I
Yeah.
think that'd be fun.
That CoverGirl too, that reminded me. CoverGirl.
Oh,
you know how
like
many
America's
times,
Next Top Model?
you
That'd
know-
be perfect.
You know how many times we practiced Easy Breezy Beautiful CoverGirl when we were like 5?
We could do the commercial tomorrow, probably.
Our flip phone up, we'd be like, take one, go.
We got
It'd
it.
be Easy.
That's a good one.
Yes.
CoverGirl
that.
is one.
I think, yeah.
That'd be
would
good.
Great, yeah. Okay, the advice I would give my younger self at the beginning is just, you can do it. Like, simple as that, because again, like, I just never even considered it. Like, I just was like, I don't know, like, it just seems like such a huge dream that's just like, oh, some people, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, well, that wouldn't be me. And so I just never even thought of it for myself, but just try, just like go for it, just try, like you are capable. And even if it doesn't happen, like at least you tried, you know, because that's always been my biggest thing. Like how I said before, I never did competitive sports and all this stuff because I just am so scared of the word no, you know what I mean? But like, it's okay to hear and just try it, just go for it. Like, you never know.
That's a good one. I would tell my younger self at the beginning of modeling to relax. Like, I would literally just shake myself and say to relax. It is okay to not be in control of every situation at every moment. I think that's kind of the fun of it. I've learned to love it. Kind of like what she said, you can do it. Believe in your own divine timing and know that the things that are meant for you are going to come to you, and the things that are not for you will not come. Like, let them fall off. Let them not be for you. And just know that it's coming. Relax, breathe. Don't get yourself worked up about a made up situation in your head that hasn't even occurred.
Right.
And yeah, just, you got it. And older self is proud of you at the end of the day.